I haven't done this type of video for a while, so I figure I might as well catch up on all the stuff that I'm doing around here. Various rifles that I've fixed, various rifles that I'm using now, and stuff that's happened to them and stuff that I've fixed and things like that. So we're going to start off with my UTG Gen 5 Master Series sniper rifle. Okay, you guys have all seen this before. This is my UTG Master Series sniper rifle, and this is that one that had the screwed up hop up, the barrel, the end of the barrel, the whole 9 yards. You've seen the videos. If not, you can go back and look. I used this at 2 games recently. One all day, and I was having an incredible day. Just BBs were flying out there, I was having a good time. Then all of a sudden at the end of the day, like the last game, I'm getting 2 BBs almost every other shot. What had happened is the bucking ripped, and I put a new bucking in it, and it was working fantastic. It was actually lifting some 4.0s way out there. So I was using this then at the next game, having some decent luck all through the day, until like 3/4 of the way through the day, I was in this castle defend thing. And I'm like, as a sniper in a castle defend, you just pick a back position, get high, start shooting, which is basically what I did. I think I shot like 6 times, and I pulled the bolt back, and I went to put it forward, and it slammed forward, and I heard a big clunk. So I thought, oh, I broke a sear off, something else happened. But what had happened is the cylinder itself had something had broken on the front of it, because I can't pull it back now. I took it apart, tried to get it at some stuff, but something broke inside. I think the cylinder broke or something inside there that's jammed up. I probably could try to take it all apart, but there was just too much damage with this one. So I said, that's it, I'm done. I have 3 mags for it. Let's see if I can find another one. So I went looking around and looking for a UTG for this particular model, which I think is an M2334S. I think that's the number. It doesn't really matter. Nobody has it. UTG, not making it, the whole discontinued, everything like that. And I got on this one site on Facebook, the one guy said, well, hey, that's also an M50. Look for M50. He said it's the same thing. I'm like, well, are you sure? He said, positive. He said, the only way to fix these when they break is buy another one. He said they're relatively inexpensive, under $100. So I'm like, okay, I'll go look. Now, still looking at this rifle, this outer barrel, hop up inner barrel, and the body is still good. It has rails on it which I could take apart, things like that. The stock is okay. If I need those parts, I can use them on another rifle. But what I did is I went and bought another one. And we're going to jump to that right now. First thing I'm going to show you is I bought the M50 in a box. And it's got the big Gen 5 on there, even though it says nothing about UTG on here. It says new version. So I don't know what new is about it, but the big thing that I want to show you is that it comes with, and I'm going to put this up in the air a little bit, it comes with a really low-end red dot, a speed loader, and a real low-end laser, which you put on there. And I'm like, okay. Comes with some tools, battery, a jamming rod, some more little tools for putting the stock together, and some extra screws, which is a plus. Okay, little bag of BBs, and first thing I did was take the huge weight, and I mean this is huge, out of the stock. Comes with a little target, the instructions, and the whole 9 yards. So that's the box that I got for this particular gun. Now, here's the new one. Okay? Nicer stock. The only thing that you'll notice here, I put every one of the butt pads on here, the extenders, to get this to fit to my particular arm, so that I don't have to shoulder it back so far. It felt like I was always shouldering it back so far and chicken winging after a while. Now with this, I can keep a lower profile. Got the scope back on there. Got my barrel cover on here. And what you'll notice on this one is it has an orange tip, which I just have some tape around just to cover it up. It still is basically a really easy pull. Still kind of loud, but the thing works phenomenal. And the 3 mags I have fit this. Now, on the site, which I think is interesting, on the website where I bought this, this is the goofy sling that comes with it. I just wanted something to carry it with. It's not the best, but just something to put over my shoulder when I'm walking out to the field, so I don't have to hang on to it like this. I can actually put it over my shoulder and get a drink, get my gloves on, whatever. Anyway, the interesting thing on this, on the website, this says 420 to 450 with 2 O's. Now this is on at least half a dozen sites that I found this on. And 83.10 shipped, this was. So dirt cheap. And I thought, well, I'll take the barrel out, I'll put the hop up and bucking and the whole 9 yards in there, and I'll do all this other stuff to it. Maybe put the old stock back on it. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do a thing to this. I'm going to throw some BBs in it and see what it shoots with 2 O's. And all the shots on this were almost at 500. And the highest shot I got was 501 with everything else in the 490s, high 490s, 495, 496, 498. But I did take a picture of the one with 2 O's, and I'm going to insert that right here. So the only thing I did to this was put the scope on, zero the scope in using 4.0 BBs, and set the hop up. Now the hop up is set at roughly, I'd say about a little over half, not much more. And it's lifting 4.0s out there like a string. And I thought, this is great. I don't have to do anything. And it's probably going to settle in a little bit under 500, which is going to be great. So I can use this on every field that I go to now, the 500 with 2 5s or the 500 with 2 O's. So I've been shooting this, and it's gradually been settling in to like the high 490. So it was like 495, 494 the other day when I was shooting it with 2 O's, testing it just to see. So it is settling in under 500. But I thought that was unusual. The website showing 420 to 450, and I'm getting 500 with this. So spring will settle in. It'll work out. But I did put 2 things on this. I put the higher mount scope rings on here, took the metal out of the stock like I said, and I'm using the sling. And other than that, this is stock out of the box, and it's working like a champ. So we're going to move on to the next thing that I worked on. This monstrous thing, I've had videos on this before. This is the Lancer Tactical M82. Well, what I've done is shorten the barrel. Okay, I'll leave this in frame a little bit so you can see it. What I've done is I've taken out the big long barrel that was in there, and it wasn't really that long. It only came to here, right about where the flash hider is. I put in a tight bore barrel, new bucking. I have a top dead center mod on this, and I cut the barrel off and put the flash hider back on here with the shorter barrel. It's getting decent range now. I also took out the original spring and put in a lesser spring because this thing is still massive to pull back and shoot. I've been using 2.8s in it, and they're getting out there decent. I tried some 3.0s, just wasn't getting the range. This thing is like, with 2.5s, it's like right at like 440. So it is a sniper rifle, but you just don't have the range. And for the pull that you have and how cumbersome it is, it's a lot less cumbersome now with the shorter barrel. It's a little easier to stock. This is really short on me, so I am pulling this back. So I do have a guy that wants to use this for sort of like cosplay, and I'm like, okay, I'll sell it to him for half and nothing. You know, he can still shoot it if he really wants to. but he wants to like dress it up a little bit for like this cosplay LARP stuff that he does. And I'm like, more power to you, buddy. So I'm going to probably sell it to him. As a sniper rifle, if you have close quarters and stuff like that, this is like, with 2.5s, it's like, with 2.0s, it's like, it's 2.0s, it's 440, not 2.5s. 2.0s, it's like 440, so it's like right at 400 with 2.5s. It's very hard to pull. The range is okay, but most AEGs outshoot it anyway. So it's a conversation piece more than anything else. And now with the shorter barrel, it's a little easier to maintain and handle in particular areas. It was sort of long and heavy, and I had to put a like walking, like shooting stick on it. So maybe I'll get rid of this and let the guy buy it for cosplay. So that's all what I've done with this, and it works, but just not something I want to use on a regular basis. Now, you've probably seen this. This is my, what I call my fish gun. This is a replica from Ghost in the Shell. It's got a big long, it's a Dragon, like Special Tactics and Rescue, big long name, star, you know. Anyway, I put a Valken engine in this, and I was noticing that the hop-up I had in there, I'd have it all the way on, and I was barely getting 2.8s out there. So I'm thinking, okay, what's going on with this? And I look, and the hop-up arm actually had a nub glued on it. And I put a hop-up nub in there, and it had crushed it down all the way as far as it would go, and I was getting nothing for hop-up. 2.8s all the way on, barely going out of there, and they're nosediving at like 100 feet. So what I did is I got a new piece of insulation off a wire, real heavy insulation off a wire, and I cut it in half. I cut a piece off, and then I cut that piece off like 2/3. So then I took the hop-up arm out of there, put a little super glue on there, and I glued that rubber piece on that round nub that's already there, the plastic round nub that's already there. So I put this back together, hop-up's all the way off, and I put some 2.8s in it just to see how they are. And I'm like, it's going out there 125 feet and dropping with no hop-up on. I barely touched the hop-up, and they're like, up to the sky. So I said, okay, I usually run 3s in any of my HBA guns. Let's put some 3s in there. Put the 3s in there, and they're like, boom, boom, dead nuts on. Going out there quite a distance and then dropping. So I give it just a little tweak on the hop-up, barely on now, and they're just floating out there and decent range. So this is actually a lot of fun to shoot. It's very, very short on me. So when I pull it in, I gotta make sure I keep tucking that arm in. But it's a lot of fun to shoot. I have it set at 3-round bursts instead of full auto because it actually shoots a lot better. Most of the mags that I have are high caps for this, and I have this one that I found in the woods that the guy never came back. So this is a 120 round mid cap. I put this in there, it feeds every BB out of there completely without a problem, and the 3-round burst works great. So this is another project. I'm probably going to be using this off and on during the winter because either sniper rifle or this, because it's a lot of fun to shoot this and it's easy to maintain. Have you take 2-3 mags with you, you're good for the day. Alright, let's move on to my last thing. This is my last repair, but I have one more thing after I show you this repair. This is my pistol, my M&P S&W pistol. Now, what happened to this is I was shooting it and it just fell apart. I was shooting full auto on it, it just fell apart and parts fell off on the ground, and I'm right in the middle of a game and I'm like, holy shit. So I said, it's done. So I'm trying to find parts online and things like that. And I thought, I'm going to go up there before I cut the grass and just see if I can find some parts. So I went up there, and it was all the shooting mechanism that I lost. The switch, the holding spots here, the sight fell off, the whole 9 yards. So what I did is I went up in the field and I'm like, there's a part, I see one. So I went to another little spot, oh, there's another little part. So I found the sight, I found the bar, and I found the actual plate back here. Alright, so I'm like, okay, what am I missing? Well, there was a little Allen grub screw on the top, there's the main screw that goes in here, and there was some kind of spring mechanism, which I looked and looked and looked. I could not find them. They probably flew, I don't know where. So it was real simplistic. I was able to find the little grub screw for on top here, fit, put it in there, it's good to go. As for here, I actually found a screw that fit. And the only thing is, it's a little long, so I put a brass washer on it and crushed it down in there so it stays. And it works great. Now, this had a switchable full auto semi. That was with that spring and bracket or whatever it was there, so I couldn't figure out how to get that to switch back and forth. Because when it was floating in there, I was getting neither. So what I did is I hard locked this into semi, and now it just shoots semi. So I don't know if there's any gas in this one. Nope. No gas in that one. Let's see if there's gas in this one. No gas in this one either. Yeah, there is. Alright, so it shoots semi only. And it's throwing 2.8 BBs out there like a champ. So that was the last thing I fixed. This broke during a game, which made me so sad because I've had this forever and did a lot of things on it. And I actually fixed the laser. I don't know if we can, there you go. Fixed the laser on that, so it actually, like, I'm coming around a corner and I was out of BBs, and I remember doing this, putting the laser on and going back and forth, and the guy ran out the other way, and I'm like, I didn't have to even shoot the guy. I did put this up against one guy's back and say, you're dead, and when I was out of BBs, so that actually worked out good too. So this was the last thing that I had to repair out of everything that broke over the last, like, month. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is something that I got in a trade. And I'll be right back. Okay, you see the big black case on the desk here? I actually traded a rifle that I could not use on the field. It was shooting way too hot. It was way heavy. You know, just carrying all the mags, the gun, the whole 9 yards. I couldn't handle it. You know, I'm 62, I'm just starting to lose strength, whatever. My S&T SVD sniper rifle. Perfect condition, shot like a champ, had a couple of mags with it, a bunch of like authentic gear. Had to get rid of it though. I couldn't keep it because I couldn't use it. Now, I had like $750 into that, and I was selling it for like $3.5. I was just trying to get rid of it. So the one gentleman saw that and he said, I have a rifle that I can't use. He said, I would really like to get your rifle for this one instead. And I told him it's too hot for any field. You'd have to take down the spring. He said, that's not a problem. He got it. He was test firing. He said, this is phenomenal. I love it. The whole 9 yards. He said, here's what I want to trade you. This. This is an original Novrich SSG24. Okay, one of the first series SSG24 rifles that are out there. Actually, the serial number on here says like 65 somewhere here, if I can see it. Yeah, 65. That's the serial number on it. So this is the 65th one that he sold. Comes with 4 mags. There's 1 mag in here. Okay. 4 mags, the little goofy speed loader, actually included a speed loader, and a bottle of the 4.5 BBs. Okay. Now, several things I did to this. Okay. First thing that I had to do, like all cosmetic, is I put the higher scope mount rings on it. He had a lower set on there, but with my face mask, I want to get a little bit higher mount. And of course, I adjusted the stock out so that it actually fits my arm better. so that I can get a immediate sight picture without going crazy. I just put this up, bang, slam, it's right there. Alright? So the scope rings, adjust the stock. I got a sling for it because it is a little heavier than my other sniper rifle. So I wanted to have a sling that I could throw this over my shoulder, throw it across my body, and be able to walk with it so I don't have to keep carrying it, because after a while it probably would get heavier. The next thing I had to do, this thing was shooting like 480 with 2.5s, which is like perfect, but for some fields that are use 2.0s and have a 2.3 joule limit, okay, which is 500 with 2.0s, this was too high. So what I have done is I went on the US Narvich site, this came with an M150 spring. I bought a 140 and what they call the FPS adjuster rings. So I put the M140 in there and I put the biggest adjuster ring in there, and it shoots 488 to 490 with 2.0s. So this thing is like perfect for both fields that I want to use it on. And I'm using 4.0s in it instead of the 4.5s. I had to take the hop up down a little bit, which is fine. And I'm using 4.0s, and it's got some decent range. Now the pull on this, it's got this little short handle here, which is fine, but I'm so used to the bigger one on my other rifle. The low scope mounts it was hitting my finger every time I pull the bolt back. This one, it's not a bad pull, and it does shoot decent, but I'm going to consider this my backup sniper rifle if the other one that I have goes down. If my M50 goes down, which is a really light weapon that I can use 4.0s in, goes down, I can switch to this, and it's still in field limits, and it can use 4.0s, and it's set up. Now this has a much better scope on it. It's got a smaller scope on it. It has a smaller field of view here than my other M50 scope. It just seems to me. I don't know. That's just me. But what I like about this is it's damn near dead nuts on, like at 200 feet. I was shooting the first day he gave it to me. He said, "Here, try it out." I put the crosshairs. We're standing at the 200-foot line, just coincidentally, to the target in the back, and I hit the target on the first shot. Just put the crosshairs right on the middle of the target, shot, tink, and I'm like, damn. Shot 4 more times, hit the target 4 more times, and I'm like, 5 out of 5, I hit a 200-foot target without like going crazy. So now I'm thinking that this, for distance might be decent. If I have a game, I might start with this, and as I get tired, switch to my UTG or switch to the M50, or just use this as a backup if I have to. It's a nice rifle. It's very heavy. I know they have alternate stocks for it and stuff like that, but I've spent enough money on the adjuster rings and the spring. And the scope mounts and the sling. I'm not putting any more money into this. It shoots fine. People are telling me about doing this, doing that, and I'm like, why? I don't have to do anything. This thing just runs. It works. It's fine. I don't have to worry about it. So this is going to be my new go-to gun. And the ideal thing is that it has 4 mags that come with it. So, and they're standard mags, like looks like an M24 mag. So I mean, I had 1 mag on my one gun and used it. Then I had 3 mags, and I ran all day without even going back for a reload because I wasn't shooting that much. Now I'm hoping that with 4 mags, I'm going to be fantastic with this. So that's all the updates and everything that I've done in the last month on the particular guns. Like I said, I've been getting out just to some open plays, like several Saturdays and Sundays this last month, September, end of August, September, and we're now in October, and I am planning on a game this Saturday. There's some games coming up the next weekend, the weekend after that, the weekend after that, right up until the first weekend in November, which we're hoping it's not snowing. We actually have another open play that I'm going to. It's going to be the last one of the season, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait to go to that, bring these rifles out, maybe bring my fish gun out. I don't know what I'm going to be using, but I want to have a good day, and I think no matter what I bring out, it's going to have a lot of fun. So this is my updated collection that I have. I actually got rid of a few guns. Got rid of one, got one back, so that was a washout, but I did get rid of a few other guns as well. I still have quite a few that I'd like to get rid of, you know, that I'm not using. A couple HPA ones and things like that. But shipping is a killer. Trying to ship out of state is just astronomical price-wise, so I can't do it. If people want to meet me at the house, you know, if they want to drive or something like that, I'll give them a break. But I can't ship stuff out, so I've been selling stuff locally if I can. So this has been Keeper with all the updates that I did on this nice, cold, wet, rainy day. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day.
There are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.